whipped up a couple days ago when Sai asked us to is Revelation, Investigation, and Prosecution, the Public Politics of Private Sexual Transgressions. Now I should first say that I've never before been on any kind of panel where I'm talking about theater or Shakespeare or any kind of topic other than American politics and American law contemporary. So I'm certainly in over my head or out of my league or however you would like to call it. So, but my role is not really to give you any information about history or the theater. It's more to talk about the modern day relevance of this otherwise outdated play. And as Sai mentioned to me multiple times when he asked me to come and speak about the American politics side, as he mentioned, the parallels between Lord Angelo and our past fallen governor, Elliot Spitzer, are with discussing how certain they are. You'll see the play in this restaurant they are. But my interests are in part more of not so much Elliot Spitzer's or the Bill Clintons, but the other political party that has really made much of its centerpiece a holier-than-thou message about traditional family values, about morality, and in a fascinating sense, I find the parallels to be even more striking when one looks at the fallen heroes of the Republican Party who have launched their careers on a traditional family values message of faithfulness to one's traditional family role in the husband-wife paradigm, and and being heterosexual. And then next thing you know, Mark Foley is sending text messages to his high school boy congressional pages with lewd comments to them. Now, of course, the flip side is that the Democratic, we just recently learned that his Democratic successor was himself having an affair while campaigning on a holier-than-thou message of don't get rid of this Mark Foley guy who's preying on your sons who are in Congress, and he's having an affair with somebody while doing the holier-than-thou campaign. So it's certainly not that one party has a monopoly on what we call the zipper problem. Whether we're condemning the Larry Craigs in Minneapolis, playing footsie in the bathroom, airport, Bill Clinton, which we could have a whole Shakespearean play about his issues too, or John Edwards, Elliot Spitzer. Clearly there's something going on, and one question is what lessons ought one to draw from this perpetual cross-history issue of people who take who end up winning and becoming our great heroes because of their claims to purity and to moral orthodoxy, and then how there's this total hypocrisy in so many cases. What ought one to make out of the private sexual transgressions and how they have become so central in public politics? And I won't hit you over the head with my own soapbox about what the lessons ought to be, but I did want to raise 4 possible ones, some of which are very familiar to you, but also just briefly expose you to one or two of them that you might not have thought of quite in the same way. So first, to just hit a couple of the ones that are the most obvious. One of them gets a lot more traction in a lot of European, more tolerant societies. And to quote one of my favorite progressive hip-hop artists, I don't give a, we'll leave it blank, what they're doing in private, I want to know what they're doing in public. Or it's sort of the, I don't give a crap who they're screwing in private, I want to know who they're screwing in public kind of blank. And that's the European, a little bit more of the European message of let politicians do what they do with their affairs, with their fornications and their adultery and whatever it may be. And let's focus on their public actions or inactions as public officials dealing with public policy. And certainly that was a major message that actually led to the creation of the organization MoveOn.org. It was an organization that was saying, let's censure, C-E-N-S-U-R-E, the just do a formal censure in Congress of Clinton for his zipper problem, and then let's move on to the public matters of our country. So that's one view, but there's a strong case that could be made by some of the most ardent fans of Hillary Clinton, not necessarily on the issue of her husband, but just more of a feminist critique, that we shouldn't just say, oh, let boys be boys in the halls of Congress or in the White House, and let them have their affairs and don't worry about it. There's an alternative view which certainly got a lot more play with Spitzer, given that he wasn't merely just having an affair, but he was paying mega bucks for high-end call girls, as he was in previous years had been going after these very prostitution rings, saying that they're predators of women. And so there is either from on social conservative grounds or on more feminist left grounds, the claim that we really should be going after the private acts, or we should really make a public politics out of these private sexual transgressions, because it's not just people having fun on the side. It's actually fundamentally about the patriarchy or about the denial of people's human rights, and so hence it is a very serious issue. Those two arguments you're probably more exposed to, and certainly a third one of just the hypocrisy of the purists is something that the play itself I should emphasize is quite familiar. Just very briefly, the fourth one that is this that I lifted from that is actually the title of Revelation, Investigation, and Prosecution. I lifted from a prominent political scientist who used to be at Cornell and is now at Johns Hopkins, named Benjamin Ginsberg, and he co-authored a piece called RIP for Democratic Politics. RIP stands for Revelation, Investigation, and Prosecution. And this twist about his argument about why we should care so much about sexual scandals dominating the news is his argument is that really what's going on is that when one party can't defeat another party, or when one candidate can't defeat another candidate through the ballot box, instead one party or one candidate tries to take down the opposition by weighing the opposition via exposing a sexual scandal or a financial scandal or some kind of scandal. So it's hence this politics of scandal, and that often the politics of scandal is really a cover for some deeper agendas, some powerful forces that are trying to sink people like Spitzer because of some of his public policy impacts. And sometimes it's not that at all. There was a lot of speculation maybe Spitzer went down because the Karl Roves of the opposing party were really going after him, and others said, no, just a sloppy case of putting on the credit card, some very expensive but sketchy financial transactions that led the FBI to go after him. Regardless of which of the two it is, certainly we live in an era where McCain could have dreamed of nothing better than linking Obama to some sex scandal in the week before the election. It seemed nothing short of that or a terrorist attack could have led McCain to win. Now the National Enquirer is claiming to have irrefutable photos that his wife Cindy is engaged in an affair. So perhaps the sexual politics is not all about men and their zippers, but we'll see how the National Enquirer plays out. Sometimes it ends up leading to real stories, and sometimes they're not the most reputable. So whether it's human nature, whether it's the American way, whether it's the diversion that we're getting suckered into by the social conservative forces in America, whether it's a real important issue for feminist anti-patriarchy grounds, or whether there's shady partisan agendas that are really leading to the destruction of democratic